Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Roswell Dragway, Alien City Dragway here, Rob Coon with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's race day.
Yeah, this sounds like a lot of fun. Now, we'd love to invite the folks to come on out. If you've never been out to the Dragway here and seen a night of racing, then maybe make this weekend your first opportunity to come check some racing out.
Exactly. Tonight is a street car race.
Okay.
Test and tune for the big hot rods. Come out and
so those guys are all tweaking and getting ready for tomorrow.
But our street cars, our Mustangs and Camaros and stuff you see going up and down Main Street here, they come out, the younger generation, and we just let them burn the tires off.
Absolutely. Well, that's the next. I mean, this is how you build passion for the sport and things, and yeah, if you're a person that loves cars, you know, it's you know. You're out there with your Mustang, your Camaro, whatever it is.
Plus, it's a great, safe environment. They're
Take
off
it out
the
to the
street
Dragway.
They're not,
exactly. Yeah.
The only thing about our Dragway right now, they're doing some construction.
Okay.
Right there at Hobson and YO Crossing. You're going to have to go down to the next exit to get in.
Okay.
To take a right, and then you got to work your way back through. If you go out there, you'll see how it's.
They'll have signs or whatever telling people.
But where you usually turn to come in, you're going to have to go down to the next intersection and take a right.
Okay.
And work your way back that way. It's very simple. But
yeah, if you come at the right time, just kind of follow the herd. They'll all be kind of going that way. So
absolutely.
Just get in the group and merge on in. So, but so really, tonight's going to be fun because now you get to see friends and neighbors and folks.
And it's a friendly night.
Bringing their rides out, coming on out, real community thing.
Sure.
But if you kind of want to get a preview of some of the big boy nitro stuff.
They'll be out there tonight doing some test and tuning, and then tomorrow night.
Is game on for them.
Yeah, game on.
Nice. So if you kind of want to see, and I'm guessing, and this is where I love drag racing as a sport and things, it's one of those sports where you get to, interact with the crews and things.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, obviously, you go to an NFL game or whatever, you're not going to hang out on the sidelines and strike up a conversation with the coach or nothing.
Well, I go to Phoenix and different big racetracks, and I can walk through the pits and shake hands with John Force or any of the big guys. You go to a NASCAR race, which I've been to, you can't get within 100 yards of those drivers.
Yeah,
they're like protected like with the NASCAR Secret Service.
Sure, it's seen and not heard or whatever.
NHRA, that's why it was built that way. Fan friendly, sign autographs.
Well, and a lot of it, especially here like this, you can kind of walk through the pits, the garage area.
Oh yeah.
And so if you're a car person and you want to talk shop with some of these folks, they love doing that and love, maybe you're interested in getting into the sport and you're like, what kind of investment am I talking about here? What am I doing? Start picking brains down there and seeing what's involved and what's going on there. And of course, if you're just dad and bringing the kids out and say, hey, let's go check out some cool cars, and dad and kid sitting there talking with some of the drivers and some of the mechanics and things like that.
Our last race, I've got a 55 Chevy I race. And people come by and take pictures of it. And a family of 4, 2 little girls came by, and I opened it up and let the kids sit in it. And they got pictures, and they just thought I was the handiest thing since a pocket on a shirt, But that's the way it goes with everybody out there. Everybody does that.
As a man now, but once a boy, I know
absolutely.
exactly how cool a big a deal it is. Prop you up behind the wheel of a race car and get all that cool stuff. It is so much fun. And
sure.
And of course, it's drag race in action. I mean, if you've ever been to a drag, I got to experience it for the first time when I was like a teenager, because I had a friend whose dad was he raced funny cars and all that stuff, and he didn't do like the backyard stuff. He wasn't quite John Force level and all that, but he was one of those guys that
top sportsman.
Yeah, he put some coin into his investment here with his cars.
Sure.
And he had an old Vega that he first did it with and blew that thing up, and then he ended up running a '68 Camaro that he completely fixed up into one of these hot rods and ran it for years.
Well, I guarantee you, there's cars in this town, and there's a lot of race cars in this town. You just don't see them too much, except on race day. But guys have got $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 in their cars, plus their tow rigs.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the big motor homes with the double stacker trailers, and you can tie up a couple $100,000 real quick.
Absolutely.
In an operation. Now, me, I've got a a 20-foot enclosed trailer and a 55 Chevy and a pickup. And I'm kind of down on the low end of the spectrum, but, poor boy racing. But
you're more in the hobbyist, not in the serious.
There's some serious drag racers, and we get some coming over here from Texas that are just crazy fast and good racers.
Yeah.
Of course, our racers are too. We'll pit our racers up against anybody.
Absolutely. But here's the part I love too is like you get to learn kind of the intricacies of the sport, and you realize there's a lot more strategy involved in things than people realize. Most people just think start a light and start racing, and no. There's a lot more to that. It's all about hitting that what they call the Christmas tree just right and doing all that stuff. And so it's as much, because let's face it, all these cars, these drivers are all pretty fast. They're all pretty good. The difference is, hitting your marks right, doing the right, making sure you don't miss those beats, miss the right things. And I don't know all the exact stuff, but I understand it is really this, it's you do these things by the numbers, it's going to be sweet.
I'm an old guy. My reaction times have slowed down so much, and you end up racing some 20-something kid, and you're 70-ish, maybe a little older.
Yeah.
They're going to kill you every time unless you just you hit one lucky.
Well, and that's where the being smarter, why the little bit of wisdom does sometimes trump.
Oh, there's some tricks you can play. There's some tricks.
I'm kind of curious, just because like we were talking money and things like that, but really I know in terms of racing, cars break you know what I mean. So when it comes to preparing for a race, like how much. Like and I'm sure each team has a different philosophy on this, but like I imagine the money because at some point you're like, okay, we blew something, we're going to have to replace it before the next race, but you don't know that's going to happen, so you kind of got to keep a stable of parts and things. I mean, obviously there's tendencies for certain parts to break over others, so you're like, I'm going to need to have more of those. Right. But how do you gauge that when you go into a weekend saying, like, do I bring a whole nother engine if I need? I mean, like, what do you know is like how much to bring and what's overkill or what's not enough?
Well, most guys like myself, I have a shop, and throughout the years, many years, I've accumulated hand-me-downs, and I've bought stuff that I didn't need, but I'll need next year. The main thing is oil, filters, spark plugs, stuff like that. You got to keep that oil changed. You got to keep them spark plugs changed out.
I didn't know if you had to bring like a whole garage of a Napa parts with you or something.
Well, my theory is if I broke it out there, I'll just bring it home.
Gotcha.
Fix it Monday morning and live to race another day.
If it breaks that bad, then you're probably out for the day.
Now, I take my tools out there, and if there's something loose or something I can fix real quick.
Gotcha.
But I don't want to spend my whole time out there underneath the car.
Right.
When I could be watching other cars go down the track.
Sure. For you, it's fun, and you're like, I can do that at home.
Sure.
And now I'm going to sit in the stands and be a spectator.
Well, the last 2 days I've had my motor totally tore apart, and it'll be back together by noon today, ready to go. So.
Well, and then again, people like that. This is labor like yourself. They're the guys that. They see a garage floor full of parts, and they're like, "Oh boy!"
Oh yeah,
not oh boy.
Oh yeah. Another thing I'd like to say about our track, we're kind of on life support right now. We were told to be off that track by January of next year, of 23. They had other plans for that property out there. We've had that track since 1986 out there. Rick Calloway built that track, and before that, it was out at the airport.
Gotcha.
I've been racing there since the late 60s, but we've kind of hit these crossroads now to where we're hoping the city will let us keep our track open. Roswell's, there's not a whole lot of entertainment here in Roswell. We don't have big concerts and big baseball teams and football.
We're not a mecca for that stuff.
Right.
We're a passing through type town.
Unless you like to play golf, you can bowl, you can go to the movies, and you're pretty much limited. We've had this track in operation since 1986. We've had some tremendous success out there. It sat vacant for 3 years when the Alien City Dragway took it back over. And when you let one sit for 3 years, it just kills the track.
Absolutely. I imagine it just fell apart.
There was 6 of us went in on this. We formed a board, which I'm the president, and we started rebuilding this track. Now our board's down to 3, but we still, last Saturday, we were out pouring concrete on the starting line because the drivers complained there was a hump there. So we cut the hump out and fixed that. We have spent lots and lots of money out there, and we're hoping the city will give us a reprieve and let us keep our track out there.
Sure. You're trying to take care of it.
And it's the best track by far in the state of New Mexico. Albuquerque's got a track. Deming's got a track. We butt heads with Hobbs. They have a track. We don't butt heads, but they
competing for the same dollar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Competing for the same dollar. Odessa's got a track. Amarillo's got a track. But if you'll ask any of these drivers that come over here, we got the nicest pits. They're all paved. We got a good concession. Where else can you?
The facility's a good facility.
Where else can you go? And at the end of the track, you look up and there's 2 747s parked. That's what's cool about it.
It is a cool backdrop.
We got planes coming in and out. It is. It's a good track. It's a fast track, and we just hope the city sees in their wisdom to let us keep it.
Sure.
Because we've had it for a long time out there.
And I know that's been kind of something that's been in the papers and it is an issue here in the community for the last year or two here on this. And like you said, it's there's a lot of support to keep the Dragway here and do all that. They have plans, and I think so really what, as a community, if you want to see and want to continue to see races coming out here and all this stuff, 2 things you need to do. One is write to your city councilors, things like that, talk for your support. And 2, come out and support races. Come on out and watch a race here. Come and bring the family. Hang out an evening for fun in the pits and watching some great races and seeing what this sport's all about. And come and have some fun.
Well, I know these cars here that we have coming in, these pickups and funny cars and stuff. If you'll look around Roswell, I'm not sure exactly where all they're going to be parked today, but they'll be parked around businesses around Roswell.
So might be hanging out
up and down Main Street. You'll see these things somewhere.
Okay. So get out and talk to these guys. If you happen to be there visiting and you see the team hanging out, come and chew the fat with them for a little bit here.
I think South Albertsons is going to have one. Powell Tire down south.
Okay.
Different places. If you drive down Main Street, you'll see their display set up. And this is tonight's, again, a test and tune, and these big cars will be out testing, and then tomorrow night it gets down to the brass tacks.
Yeah.
And
gates will open at 6 o'clock tonight.
Right.
And they'll start racing out there about 7, so you can get you a good spot, maybe get some dinner, and get you settled for the race.
And we got food trucks out there. There'll be plenty of goodies.
Yeah, you go away hungry, it's kind of your own fault.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
But as far as recommendations, as far as like hearing protection, things like that, do you recommend that kind of stuff? And because I know it does get a little loud, especially if you're hanging out by the burnout zone and all that.
Especially with these big cars. Bring you some earmuffs or earplugs. We got what a lot of people do is they come out in their pickups and they can back up on the west end of the track, and you got basically an eighth of a mile of parking there.
Mm-hmm.
Put your lawn chair in there. Put your cooler with your, we hope, non-alcoholic beverages.
Put your favorite sodas and waters and fruit
and put a lawn chair back there. Or we got some good bleachers.
Yeah.
But if you want to just stay in your car, you pick up back up there.
Make it like a little family picnic night out kind of thing and enjoy the races.
Yeah, it's a good time, and we put on a good show out there.
What's cost to get in and all that stuff?
$15.
Very good for a night of entertainment. What about if there's some racers around listening and want to get in on tonight's races? A, is that still available? And B, what does that cost?
Tonight, it's $30.
Okay.
For you to come out and
bring what you brought, basically.
Run what you brought.
Yeah.
And these guys, they'll make so many runs out there because they enjoy it so much, and they just burn them tires off. And I wish that I had a program like that when I started racing, because I went from right into the steep competition kind of stuff.
Sure.
These guys
got thrown to the wolves a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
These guys, they race side by side. One's a 13-second car, one's a 15-second car, but they do it all night long.
Yeah.
But you'll get to see some guys who are going to race tomorrow with real race cars.
Sure.
The full out race cars that will be out there tonight and then tomorrow.
But sure. I would even argue when you bring what you brought, bring what you run, kind of if you got that mindset, you're going to see that's also the future of the sport. I mean,
absolutely.
Some are just going to keep doing it as a hobby and have fun, and that's awesome. We want that. But one or two of those, especially if they're like 18-year-old kids or something that are looking for a career as a driver in this industry, whether it's drag racing or round, dirt racing or oval track racing, whatever it is, they're learning their chops here. They're doing it in their own cars, and they're learning timing and shifting and hitting that Christmas tree just right and all those skill sets. So when they put them in something that's got a little more heat underneath the hood, then they're better trained and equipped.
NHRA has got a class called Junior Dragster. You can start at 7 years old. It's a mini dragster with a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower engine to start with.
Oh, cool!
And then as you get older,
like a go-kart on steroids kind of thing.
As you get older and your age group, those cars are wicked fast cars.
I'm like, can I drive one? I kind of want to.
Well, I'd love to drive one, but I weigh more than the car.
Oh, that's the problem.
But
we don't make them
these kids will cut your heart out on that Christmas tree. At 8 years old, they're cutting perfect lights, and of course, it's a family sport. Mom and Dad bring them, and then what's nice about that is they go up to another class, and then they start driving dragsters with big dragsters with V8 motors. Erica Enders, the reigning pro stock champ in NHRA, she started out in a junior dragster. All of these younger group right now started out in the junior dragster categories and have made a living off of it and done very well. But these kids are ruthless when it comes to cutting good lights and running consistent.
Sure. I'm wondering if gaming has trained them. With all the gaming and that hand-eye coordination. As far as getting that light just right and hitting it on the right post there. Yeah.
A few years ago, we had the world champion junior dragster driver and owner, Bobby Jones, whatever. They come in a tractor trailer, and it says, whatever his name was, Bobby Jones, world champion junior dragster. Well, they were on their way to Denver to the national meet up there for junior dragsters. Well, I thought, let's just run through Roswell, pick up some pocket change, and
move on. Yeah,
and move on.
Clean house here. Show them how it's done.
First round, a little 8-year-old girl put this kid on the trailer so fast.
That's the fun part about racing, though. Too is it's you hear football any given Sunday. It's very true in drag racing too. You could come out here and have the baddest, coolest car on the planet, but if you don't hit the marks right, you're going to be in the stands watching the rest of the night there.
And for people that don't know about our drag racing, that track will be prepped. Tonight it'll be prepped pretty decent. Tomorrow it'll be to where you could not walk on the starting line and your shoes not get pulled off your feet. That's how sticky it'll be. We put some rosin compound on it, liquid compound. We mix it with methanol, and it's a sticky, very sticky. And these big cars love it. And any car
should make some good burnouts at the beginning. And I'm not going to lie. Some of my favorite part of the race is before the race even starts, watching them burn out, the tires warmed up and everything. Yeah. Because they'll hit it hard, especially when you get dragsters and funny cars and these nitro guys. Oh, yeah. It's going to get loud. You just watch the tires increase, the whole car lift up. Well, it's really cool.
You can feel the palpitations in your heart, and you will find out, you will rattle the fillings in your teeth listening to these things, just the concussion and the power these things generate. Yeah. I don't know what the horsepower of these will be, but a top fuel dragster or funny car is putting out 11,000 horsepower.
Yeah. It's basically like ever been watching Top Gun over the weekend?
I watched it. I went and saw it yesterday.
It's a fun movie.
It is.
That's like basically when you get to these top fuel dragsters, it's like strapping into one of those, except it doesn't leave the ground. That's really what we're talking about.
They're pulling like 7 Gs, taking off, and when they pull a parachute, it's -8 Gs.
Yeah.
I mean, these cars are going from 0 to 100 in 1 second.
Yeah, it's amazingly. So when we talk about the drivers and stuff, it's a sport. You got to be in shape, and you got to,
Right.
It's a workout when you're behind the wheels. It's just like you talk about, like even like for NASCAR and stuff. You're watching those races, like are they out? Yeah, you go 500 miles at 200 miles an hour for 3 hours straight, and see how you feel after that.
But and what amazes me about those kind of cars is who can build a motor that'll run 9,000 RPMs for 500 miles.
Yeah.
And use it the next race.
Yeah.
I mean, they freshen a little. I mean,
The next night they're back doing it again.
It's amazing the mechanics and the engineers these big teams have. Of course,
dragsters, it's like you're kind of like, it's a different strategy. Is of the oval track, they're it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
For dragsters, it's the complete opposite. You're trying to basically shoot your whole wad in a quarter mile,
right,
and trying to leave it all on the track. So,
right.
So you're just, it's not about, I don't care what more power, more whatever we can do to blow it, to shave off another 1/10 of a second off that time.
NHRA has most events are quarter mile. They're finding out that the smaller tracks like ours, we're going the 8th mile for a couple of reasons. The insurance is so much cheaper. Because cars don't go near as fast.
Yeah.
And we're finding we're having a lot less accidents. And I hated it at first, but I thought, okay, I'm using only half the fuel. I'm wearing my motor out, just half as much.
Sure. And having just as much fun.
And nobody can play a trick with, there's all kinds of tricks you can play when you're running a quarter mile, because you got another 1/8 of a mile to do whatever you want. When you run an 1/8 of a mile, you better be on your game and balls to the wall. There ain't no time.
Because you blink, it's over.
Exactly.
By the time you're thinking about it, you done missed the whole race.
And I'd like to think we couldn't do this out there without like Chance Materials. They poured our concrete out there for us on a racetrack.
And they can do that for your home or business too.
Right,
so
exactly. Tate Branch, he supported us so much. Tate's an old drag racer.
I'm about to say he's got some wheel time.
He was a professional drag racer.
Yeah.
Sunwest Refrigeration. That's
okay.
Roy and George. They're on the board. Powell Tire. Mm-hmm. They support us. Rock Auto, Candlewood Sweets. They give us a tremendous deal on our out of town races.
So a lot of your drivers this weekend are going to be setting up shop out of Candlewood. So.
They give us a tremendous rate. J&S Mechanical, John Smith, or they have a kind of an HVAC business. He's out there with us. Him and Sarah are out there every time we work. And then Davis Reynolds, they rent us sweepers and stuff all the time. And so we're really blessed to have good people here that want this track and will support it.
Sure. And really at the end of the day, and I think when we're talking about, the city and some of those issues there on whether we can keep this as the home for racing or we're going to find a new home, whatever that's going to be. But this is one of those things where you groom it, you be a part of it, and I think when you come out and support it, you're going to turn out, you're going to have some fun, even if you don't know a thing about racing. That's the beauty of this. You don't have to be educated necessarily on what they're doing to come out and enjoy it. Because once it happens, you're going to watch a few races, you're going to get bit by the bug, and you're going to be like, this is really cool. And you talk to a driver, talk to some of the people in the stands, and you start learning a little bit about it. Next thing you know, you're out the next weekend coming out and watching a race, too.
And that's bring mom and dad's car out, if you can.
There you go.
Start out small.
Yeah.
Another thing, if you need a job, we got jobs out there, they're just for 3 or 4 nights a month.
Okay.
But we need some people to help us out there.
Well, like you said, you guys are just a couple of you on weekends, pouring concrete, laying things out. If you'd like to get involved that way, we'd love the more hands make less work. So.
Right, and this is for race night, and we would really like to hire a new track manager. Our last track manager quit, and he did a great job for us. Roy Stevenson is our interim track manager right now, and but he's a racer like me. I was having to work up in the tower, and Roy was running the track, And so that meant our cars were parked. But, the track comes first. If anybody's out there and has any experience and would like to be our track manager, let us know. We'll
reach out.
We'll reach out.
Come out this weekend. And
exactly.
and
get a hold of me, Roy, or George. We're easy to find.
Good deal.
And let us know. We'd like to interview you and maybe be your new track manager.
Absolutely. Lots of opportunities here if you want to get involved, either being hired or if you want to, just even volunteer to help it on some of these things. And like you said, you're down to 3 members on the board here, so I imagine you could use a few board members to help with some of the decision making and execution of some of the plans here.
Exactly.
So please, if you're out this weekend out at the races, come talk to one of these guys here, and let's see if maybe, who knows, this might be your next passion and labor of love here.
Might be a new John Force waiting out there.
You never know. But again, come on out tonight, tomorrow night. Racing starts at 7 tonight. Doors will open at 6. Tomorrow, the gates will open at 5. Racing starts at 7. Get there early, especially tomorrow night. Get there when it comes at 5. I recommend you get there when the gates open 5. That gives you a chance to walk the pits and kind of meet the drivers. And if they're busy getting ready for races, you might want to just kind of stand back and let them watch. But if there's some downtime, go shoot the bull with these guys.
Everybody likes, Oh, and another thing, real quick, Father's Day. We're putting on a car show at First United Methodist Church.
Okay.
Our pastors asked, we did it last year, if you got a hot rod and you want to come out, or if you just want to come out and look at some, in the parking lot of the First Methodist Church, 200 North Penn.
Yeah, just a
on
couple
the
blocks
Kentucky
over.
side.
Okay.
We're going to have a car show, and we'll have the hot dog guy there.
Oh, great.
Giving out hot dogs. So
come see some great, beautiful rides.
Or bring your street car, bring your hot rod, bring your mom and dad's car.
Bring your old classic beauty, whatever.
Anything. We'd love to have you there.
Yeah, if it's a unique car, come bring it out and have some fun with it. And let's show it off and brag and talk a little bit. And, especially even work in progresses. I love when they come out with those. I love, I every once in a while I'll go out to a car show and then you'll see a guy with like old 57 Chevy or something. It's kind of half restored.
Right.
I love those because you're right in the middle of seeing this beauty come back to life.
And then the next year you go, he's finished with it, and you go, wow.
That's the same car. Yeah. Is there any information, Rob, we didn't get a chance to talk about?
No, other than just be aware of the detour. Just go south one more intersection and take that right there, and it'll weave you around through that area down there, and it'll bring you back out on Wyo Road.
Yeah. Don't forget, if you have questions, you can like and follow the Alien City Dragway or Roswell Dragway. I think it's under both.
Exactly.
They're on Facebook. Like and follow. You can learn more about this event and everything else going on.
Yes.
Plus, things I was noticing the other day, I was looking through there, and you guys have like, cars for sale, things like, just stuff like that. So if you're looking for that kind of information, that's a good thing to follow. So you can stay up to date on that kind of stuff too.
Absolutely.
So, and of course, if you have questions about anything, you shoot a message through there, and somebody will get back to you. And that's probably the most efficient way to get that done, I'm thinking. So.
Well, we just hope everybody will come out and enjoy the races. If it's your first time, you're going to walk away from there going, wow, that was crazy. It's a safe sport. We've had one accident out there in the last 7 or 8 years, and it wasn't the track's fault. It was the driver's fault. He just let it get away from him.
It happens.
It does. I've come close many a time to smacking the wall, but you got to raise that right foot.
The good news is because of the safety and stuff with some of these cars, it's not the driver you got to worry about. It's the money you're going to spend fixing all that.
Yeah. Well,
that's the more disappointing part. A lot of
this guy hurt himself pretty bad, but he totally destroyed a beautiful race car.
Oh man!
And but
fun weekend. Hopefully, no one wrecks them too bad out there, and has a great weekend. And we see who knows? Maybe you see a record-breaking track time or something out there on Saturday or tomorrow night or tonight for that matter. So
Saturday night for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
We're just bring some earplugs. Maybe some suntan lotion.
Yeah, especially for the early evening, it gets a little sunny out there.
And some chairs and a cooler full Cokes and
Yeah.
water and just have a good time.
Yeah, and then like I said, there's gonna be food trucks and stuff. So
Food truck area.
you know, if you want to picnic or whatever, but if you come hungry, they got plenty
Yeah,
of grub
shame
for
on
you.
you
out there.
for leaving hungry.
Exactly. So, well, thank you, Rob. Appreciate the
bet.
visit, and can't wait to talk some more about some drag racing and stuff with you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll see you next time.
All righty.
It is 8